Hi everyone, happy Friday. Thank you so much for all the support last week on our DIY desks that convert to a table. I thought this week we'd tie up a couple of loose ends. I owe you a drawer video that goes with a dining table, and I wanted to get that out to you, and I've been meaning to and just haven't quite found the time to because we've been so busy with the tiny house. Drawers are a great solution for a tiny house. They just maximize storage and makes everything so easy to reach. And thank you for those of you that have been patiently waiting for this drawer video that complements a table plan that I put out a while back. Today I'm in the shop and I'm putting a drawer inside a traditional table. My daughter uses the table for her homework, and her homework is always on the table. So I thought if I could have a drawer on the end and she could put all her homework in when she's done with it, and her pens and her pencils and her crayons and all the other good stuff, then it would be easy to clear the table off and I wouldn't constantly be nagging her to clean the table off. So what I've done for the drawer slide framing, I'll show you here, is I put in this center support between the two aprons, and I just Craig jigged that in. This extra piece of plywood is in here because I live 100 miles from the nearest Home Depot, and I put this board in before I had the drawer slides and I was off about 3/4 inch, so I just furred it out here. I just glued and nailed that on, so no big deal. The reason I didn't move this board, which is another option, is because the joints were glued and nailed together, and I just didn't want to destroy the table by doing that. So for the drawer slides, well, let's start with the drawer box. What I did with the drawer box here is I just built, I'm actually using plywood here that I ripped on my table saw. You could also use 1x4s, 1x3s, whatever will fit inside this opening. And this is the back of the drawer, and this is the front of the drawer. And this is kind of my rule of thumb. You always make the size of the drawer equal to your drawer slide length. So in this case, it's 18 inches. 18-inch drawer slide is actually more like 17 5/8. Buy your drawer slides first, measure them, and then build your drawer to suit. For the width of the drawer, normally drawer slides take up about 1/2 inch on each side. So you're going to want your drawer to be 1 inch less than your opening. And then you've got to factor in the material for your sides. So I'm using 3/4 inch material for the sides of the drawers. So I'm going to take off another 1.5 inches. So total of the drawer, the front and the back of the drawer should be 2.5 inches less in width than your opening. You'll notice that I've drilled the pocket holes and I've placed them on the outside of the drawer. This is actually a stronger joint because your screw is going into more of the drawer material, and on the back it's hidden. And then on the front, I have this, which is the finished drawer face. So another thing you'll notice is I have 1/4 inch plywood on the back. On the bottom of the drawer, sorry. The reason that I do this is it's easy. There are other ways to put a drawer bottom in. You could, router out a groove and then slide it in there. And that's a really good way of doing it, but it increases the complexity and the time to build the project. So what I do is I just put the plywood on the bottom with glue, and I have staples here. I used a crown stapler, 18 gauge, my Ryobi Airstrike, and just staple the bottom on and use the 1/4 inch plywood to help me square up the drawer. And then I use these Euro slides. And I like these Euro slides so much is because you've got weight in the drawer. Let's say you've got a lot of weight in this drawer, and it's pushing on this plywood. And this plywood is just glued and stapled on, which is strong, but over time, that could give pretty easily, except for we're transferring the weight directly to these drawer slides. Okay, so that's the actual drawer. And then for the slides, what I do here, there's a lot of different ways to do drawer slides. And my favorite way is when you have some sort of feast frame, and then I don't know if you can see this, but your drawer slides actually float inside your project. The reason that I like this so much is because, like this drawer slide, if it was against a solid board, and that board had a crown in it, wasn't perfectly square, your project wasn't perfectly square, your drawer isn't going to slide right. It's going to be cockeyed, and it's going to, when you put your drawer in, and it's going to want to go this way while your slides are this way. So if you use these drawer slides with a socket on the end, you have a great ability to adjust to get your drawer to slide perfectly. So to install these drawer slides, what I do is I put the drawer members on the drawer, and the drawer members are smaller. That's kind of the rule of thumb. And the wheel goes on the back of the drawer, and then it's flush to the front here. And I just attach from the bottom. Now for the cabinet members, what I do is, the cabinet members are larger. They go wheel side down. You want to start them about a 1/16 of an inch in, because that's always pulling your drawer in, so your drawer will always automatically close on its own. And I will just put one screw in here and one screw in here. And what that does is it enables me to then take a level. I've already leveled these up, and pivot the drawer slide on that single screw until this meets level. And I can do that on both of them. Okay, so once I've got them both level, then I can take a tape measure, and this highly depends on how square your sides are, but I'm going to show you a little trick. So, I've got about 6.5 inches there, and then about 6.5 inches there. So what I do is then I put a single screw in each of the drawer slides, about in the middle where I think it's square. Now, of course, the side aprons could be a little bit off. So what I'll do at that point is, they're kind of floating in there, is then I'll take my drawer and let's see if it fits. And it does fit really well. But see, there's still some wobble in these drawer slides. So what I can do at this point is figure out, how my drawer is sliding the best. And when I like it, you can take a pencil, kind of mark, that's where I want that one to be. And I like that one there. Okay, and then I can just pull the drawer out and finish tightening off the screw. So I'll do that right now. And then I'm going to grab a couple more screws and just set those. Like this way, there's a little bit more flexibility. Let's say, your boards aren't as square as you'd like them to be. This is very forgiving. Okay, so now I've set that. We'll just make sure it slides. You can always go back and loosen those screws up. Fix it. It slides good. What I have done is I've taken a piece of the same material as the apron, and I just cut it. You want to leave a little bit of gap. I generally leave about 1/8 of an inch. And then just hold it there, and you can see I brought it down just slightly so it doesn't rub on the table as you pull it in and out. What I'm going to do is take my 18 gauge nailer, and I'm just going to put 2 nails in. And this is really just going to set the placement of the drawer face. And then I'll go back, pull this out. It's barely on there. And then I'll go back and throw some screws in the back. Well, that's really it for drawer slides. They're really easy. I still got to go back and screw this drawer face in so that it is in there solid. But that's it. We had a lot of functionality of this table. Well, that's it, guys, for drawers. They're really actually very simple. Don't be intimidated by them. They are very forgiving. So we'll see you next Friday with another tiny house video.